I give the floor to Brian Sheehan for his technical report. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you very much, Madam Secretary General, and also to Bureau members and delegates.
Which button?
Thank you to Bureau members and delegates. You have my annual technical report in your annexes. Unless you have any questions of that report, I just ask for your approval. Are there any questions? Questions? No questions, thank you. I ask for your approval. Any dissensions? Thank you very much. Further to this, we have the decisions taken by the Bureau, and I've asked Manuel, our Technical Director, to present the rule modifications, and after each slide ask for approval.
So I invite Manuel to the lectern, but as an introduction, after the very, very animated discussions yesterday, it was decided and agreed upon that the rule changes, the proposals made to endurance, today voted upon, will be implemented on the 1st of January 2019. That's for all rule changes to endurance. Okay? Let that be clear. This is as discussed and agreed yesterday by all of you. So now, during the course of 2018, obviously, there will be the opportunity to make further adjustments to the rules to be implemented in 2019. But today, we're going to go through the modifications that have been undergone and ask for your approval for implementation in 2019. Thank you very much. Manu, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sabrina. So I'll take you through the modifications, the outcome from the rules, from the group sessions that we had, and yesterday on the rule session. So the first information is that, as informed yesterday, the former proposal of the weights has been removed, and we have now a proposal to have a decision on having 75 or 70 kilos for the senior competitions. That's what we have to decide now, so I ask you, those who are in favor for 75 kilos, to raise your green cards.
May I kindly ask the scrutineers to please come to the front and make the counts, please? This is important. Thank you.
75 ahora. Now we are voting on 75. Who is in favor of 75?
Clearly show your cards. Thank you very much. Okay, so one more time, kindly, really put up the cards really high so they can be properly counted. Little exercise. Belarusia, put them up, keep them up. Thank you. Okay, you can put your cards down now. 33 for this. Now, please move on.
So now for 70 kilos. Who is in favor?
So now 70 kilos. Who's in favor for the proposal for 70 kilos? Keep them high up, Sweden.
why I put it through this. I put it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Okay, so here we go. Okay, 74. So now, anyone against? I mean, no, we don't have to vote against because it's either or. Sorry. I'm just so used to saying that. Give me the numbers. Okay, so 6-4 for 70. So it is clear that the rule will be for 70 kilos. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Manu, go ahead.
So now we move to the five-star events. As informed yesterday, this sentence will be removed from the proposal, as it is already stated in the rules. How should be the maximum post and the presentation time? So may I have your approval for this modification? Who is in favor? This is for implementation in 2019, as it was said before.
Okay, that's fine. I think that's good. Can we have anyone against, please? Okay, now we need really to count. Okay, 2, 4.
I'm just not certain if that's right.
I think they're voting to scratch it out. Sabrina, I think some people require some clarification. Are we voting to scratch the words out, or because I'm getting different?
No, the rule stays. What we are voting is just to scratch this sentence. It's not. We are not voting the rule.
We're just voting to scratch the words out.
We're just voting the modification to take this out and stay as it is in the rules with the 30 minutes presentation time.
It will remain the same.
Shall we do it again from the beginning?
For the purpose of clarity, we're going to have to do this vote again. And I'm going to ask the scrutineers to please remain here so that you can count. So, again, please, one more time, Manu, explain what the rule is, what they're voting on, and then we will go for the green, the red, and the abstentions. Thank you, Manu.
Okay. So we are just voting on removing this from the description of the rule for the 5 stars. We are not voting to remove the 5 stars or not. Just to put it and left it as it is in the rules now, to have 30 minutes presentation time by the end.
Okay.
This is a mistake.
Thank you. Thank you, Manu. Now, before we go into the vote, young lady, could you please kindly give this gentleman from the UAE a microphone? And then we move on to Mayor Yap. Thank you.
Mohammed Isa from United Arab Emirates. I have a small request to the panel. We need to do it similar to all the disciplines and all the sports. We need one person, please, to explain in the first, and then we'll vote for it. So it'll be clear for all of us. Thank you.
Major Yap?
He's right.
First of all, sorry, morning, gentlemen. I am confused. When you're talking about modification, this rule is not in our existing rule, the 5 star.
Yeah,
so are we approving this rule into our new rule? Or you going to have a vote again on this? I'm really confused.
We are just voting because the rule will be different from the document you received, because this won't be stated. So I have to inform you that when we put forward the modifications, it will stay without this sentence. That is the thing. And then we have to at a later stage, I'm just presenting the modifications, then we'll have the rules to vote on. Yeah, but we will ask for the approval of the modifications in an overall regulation.
What we will do is the following. As we've done with the other disciplines, Right now, we are presenting to you the articles that have been modified recently, as we did with the other disciplines. Thereafter, so you will approve that or not. Thereafter, we will approve the general modifications made to the endurance rules. Okay? So we are going article by article that have recently, gentlemen, that have recently been modified. So that you're clear as to how these will be reflected afterwards in the endurance rules. Is that clear?
No.
This is what we did for the other disciplines, and this is what we're applying now to endurance.
Yeah, and then the rest of the rules.
And then we do an overall for the rest of the rules.
For the rest
And
of the
those specific articles that have been presented to you today will be reflected in those general rules. Do I make myself clear? This is exactly the same process that we did with the other disciplines. Okay? Major Yap, yes. Don't say anything before you get a microphone, otherwise we won't hear you.
Sorry. We talk about governance. FEI, rank in the governance. We have an issue here. We cannot come here. You have sent us the document. We cannot come here to approve something without my national body approve. With the modification, I make a decision. Whatever modification you do to be passed in the pinnacle of the policy making of the world equation games or world equation policy only, must go to the national federation. You cross here, I have to have a meeting in my national body. I believe all of you will do the same. Or whatever you change here, we go try to go to, give us a time to discuss in our national federation. You cannot just shove the thing to us and we approve. Thank you.
This was discussed in your group, Major Yap, and it was discussed in Group 7 as well. And we had your request to have the 30 minutes presentation time in the last loop. So we are just putting back what is according to the rules. We are not changing anything.
I do understand that there is concern about this particular point, but I do not share your view that there's not to be made changes here at the General Assembly. This is what we are here for, to discuss, and we need to have the possibility for last-minute changes. Otherwise, there's no point in going to a General Assembly and having all this, and it's simply not necessary.
Right.
So shall we move forward?
I think so.
Okay, so can I have your approval under these conditions that were explained to this modification? Those who are in favor?
Now it's passed.
No, yes, but the problem is, he wasn't, I'm sorry, Manuel was not clear. Listen at all. You may say something, everybody understands.
No, it took me a while. Yes, it took me a while.
Manuel is good.
This is actually just returning it back to normal. Exactly. It was an error that it was.
Very good. Thank you very much. Who's against? All right. Just for the heck of it. Please count them. Now, scrutineers, kindly count the against, because this needs to be...
Sonke is a mess. Orange.
Very good. You got it? 9.
Move.
Move on.
Abstentions.
Okay.
Abstentions? 2. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6. It has been approved.
Okay, so we move on to the age of horses with the modification that the horses, we stand for the initial proposal when we have added and championships under 130 kilometers. This was raised by federations, and then this will allow the horses to compete in the minor championships, such as the youth championships and regional championships, that horses with 8 years old can compete as well. So may I have your approval? Who is in favor?
Who's against? Cards, please. Okay, 23 against. It's approved. Manuel?
Okay, so we move to the next one. It's the same for championships. The rules already state how championships should be, so this was a mistake in the wording for championships. So we will remove the maximum polls of 64 and 20 minutes presentation. As you know, for the last loop in championships should be 30 minutes presentation. So may I have your approval?
Anyone against? Okay. Any abstentions? This has been approved.
So we move to the last modification, which is for regional championships. And the modification is to reduce the number of qualification rights for horses and athletes to one instead of two. So may I have your approval?
Very good. Anyone against? Any abstentions? This has been approved.
So this concludes the modifications. So for the rest of the proposals for the endurance regulations, may I have your approval, having in mind that it's going to be implemented in January the 1st, 2019. Can we have your approval? It's better to count, no?
Anyone against? 2, 3. 3 against? 4? Okay, 4 against. Any abstentions? Okay. The endurance rules have been approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I just want to thank the FEI for its
Major Yap, with all due respect, we just concluded the modifications and rule changes. We had the session yesterday. Okay, say something, Major Yap, but I hope it's not about the rules. What we will do, however, what I promise you all, is it'll be super clear.
You promised us just now to delete the thing and then have a vote on the 5-star whether we approve the 5-star or not. That is my understanding. Everybody understand what I'm trying to say? When there's a modification, whatever table to us is a mistake on 64, 20 minutes. So they want to delete this one, and then the 5-star, whether we want to vote it, whether it will be in our rules. So this, what I said just now to us is, after the delete, we will show, and then whether we approve the 5-star to be in our rules. There was understanding.
The 5-star was voted into the rules in the last vote. Now, very clearly,
was approved.
Very clearly for an implementation from 1st of January 2019, which allowed it was very clearly mentioned. It was very clearly mentioned. Implementation as for 1st of January 2019. We have now had the vote, and this point is now closed. You can make one final comment, but then this point is closed. We have had a vote on all the points. You voted. You participated in the vote. So we need to respect the majorities here. Please,
Sir,
last point.
Sorry, sir, for interrupt and disrupt. But I have a simple point I would like to raise it. From the beginning, when Mr. Manu raised the 5-star subject, you have mentioned, Sabrina, before we start the election, that we are voting first to remove the line from the 5-star. And then we will approve to put the 5-star in the rule, because from the beginning there is no 5-star in our rule. And that was one of our major problem in all the sessions started from Barcelona, and in yesterday, in all our times we was talking about especially this point. And when you started, the way you have started, that first we will approve to remove the line, and then we will vote for the 5-star. This is exactly what has happened. I'm saying this for the record.
Dear Mr. Essa, what I never said, I never even said anything about 5 stars in my speech here. What I did say was, one, all the rule changes that will incur in endurance will be implemented in 2019. Then what I did say, I added, was any modification that was, as per the other disciplines, of articles would be presented to you, which we did. We voted article by article that have recently been changed. The rest of the changes would remain in the endurance rules. And this is the last vote that we took. I never said anything about by CEI 5 stars.
I'm sorry, I will stick to the plan here. We took duly note of your comment, and we will minute them. The process has now been followed, and I think there was a very clear consensus about what was presented, and it was explained, I think, over and over again. So this is now the situation after this democratic vote, and I invite you, and now I'm doing something personal. I really invite the Endurance Committee and Department to clearly establish a memo on what is now exactly decided, because in the end, what is decided is to have changes as of 1st of January 2019, and you still have a process that is in place where if there are things, and that's why we just postponed the implementation until 1st of January 2019, so that if there are things where either there is not a clarity or where there needs to be more consultation, modification, we have the time to do that. Okay? So this is now what today has been decided, 1st of January 2019. Your comments, including the one of Major Yap, and yours have been now included in the minutes. I asked clearly the Endurance Committee to consult now with everybody in order to see if further changes need to be made prior to 2019 in order to do this in the best way possible for the whole community. And that's it. You will have to live with that. I'm sorry. But I think it's a fair proposal. And thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we move to the next point. Sabrina?
Let's move to fun vaulting. John Eccles.
Good morning, Mr. President, Madam Secretary General, Bureau members, distinguished guests, fellow delegates. My report has been circulated, and I'm sure you've all read it. It has been another very progressive year as far as vaulting is concerned, with greater participation worldwide at all levels. Are there any questions regarding my report? In that case, can I ask for its approval, please? Thank you. Are there any against? Any abstentions? Moving on to point 21.2, there are no specific decisions that were required to be taken by the Bureau, so I'm now moving on to point 21.3. There are some minor modifications in our rules, which have been again circulated and obviously discussed by the national federations. Are there any questions?